How matakiape tonitu kao mea chaje wambli chikalamachiapelo. Hello, friends and relatives. My name is Ryan Littleeagle. Welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, I'm a singer, songwriter, and musician here in Indian country. And I started working at a place in Deadwood, South Dakota called Tatanka. Now, Tatanka, I've been a cultural representative as well as a presenter on Lakota history and Lakota culture. And I wanted to really expand on that, due at the encouragement of good friends of mine as well as some of my family. I decided to start a storytelling series. And this is another episode where I want to talk about this place behind me, a sacred place to the Lakota people. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, there's a lot of medicine, a lot of power here on this hill. For those who don't know, Matohipa or Bear Butte, it's been a sacred place to the Lakota people as well as other Plains nations for thousands of years. Come up here and do hamblecha, do inipi, as well as other ceremonies. And I've always wondered, how did this place come to be? And I was privileged enough and lucky enough to hear some stories. One of the stories I was told was actually by a park ranger here from the Oglala Lakotas. And as he sat telling me, he talked about this giant bear who one day was very hungry, and out of his hunger tracked down a group of young women, 7 sisters in particular, who were out picking berries and foraging for their village. And in his hunger, he chased them until they raised their voice to the Tankashla, and the ground rose beneath them towards the heavens. Now that's another story I will tell eventually, and it's the story of Matotipi, or the story of Devil's Tower. But that bear, unsuccessful, decided to head towards the southeast. And at this time, there were giants all around us. That there were like dinosaurs and big bears just like the one. And he got in a fight with one. And as they were tussling back and forth, they were moving the ground beneath them. And through their fight, the Badlands were created. This bear, injured, though victorious, injured from his battle, from his wounds, very tired, walked to the northern part of the Black Hills until he could walk no longer, and he broke down and started resting, and he fell asleep, and there he slept until he was petrified, which is what you see behind me, Matohipa, Bear Butte. That was one of the stories I was told. In doing research and seeing other things, I found a site called Wolakota. Wolakota, it was recommended by a good friend of mine, Star Chief Eagle, and it's amazing to see some of the elders and what they left behind for us so that we could learn and keep these ways alive. And one story I heard there was about the Chekpa, the twins, and about their involvement with Bear Butte. You see, long ago, there were 2 bears, there were twin bears, and as they were walking, again, there were giants in this area, as they were walking through, the older of the 2 told the young one, "Stay here, stay, do not move. Wait until I come back, I will go find our mother. Please stay here." And so the older of the 2 took off looking for his mother, but never came back, and neither did the mother. And that younger of the 2 bears, of the twins, waited and waited and waited until he was petrified, which you see behind me. Now, Bear Butte, I've heard, also is home of the Chekpa, the twins. And talking about those twins, old joke is you never come up here pregnant. You go home with 2 of them. I actually have a friend of mine who kind of told me her experiences with her family when they come up here and do hamblecha. She actually had 2 sets of twins, which is kind of cool to hear. Kind of reaffirms that story. But it was said long ago that there was a couple, a husband and a wife, and the wife terribly wanted to be a mother, but she could not have children. She tried and tried and tried, but there was never to be. She got very depressed and was very sorrow in it. So her and her husband decided to seek the advice of an elder, one of the grandmas. And as she was sitting there with the grandma told her, "Go to Matohipa, go to Bear Butte, go up there and pray. You go up there and you pray. You'll have kids. You won't have just 1, you'll have 2. And so, delighted and excited, the young woman and her husband decided to climb this mountain, and with them brought their pipe and set it out there and began praying to the Tankashla, to the Creator, for help and guidance in this time praying to him for help in having a family. And as she was praying, there was this little tiny bear cub that came down the hill, and she was scared, so she hid behind her husband. And that little bear stood up and he started speaking to her. He said, "Why are you afraid? Why are you scared?" Unsure, she looks at him. "Why are you scared? You called for me. I am here." Confused, she did not understand. Well, that little bear cub turned himself into a human boy. Her eyes lit up, understanding more. As she started walking towards him, he disappeared. All you could hear was his laughter. After seeing him disappear, it broke her heart, really damaged her. She started crying. And she started crying and crying, and then another voice spoke from behind her. This time it was another bear cub, but it was a little girl bear cub. And the bear cub goes to her, "Why are you crying? Hey, why are you crying? I'm here. I'm here to go home with you. Why are you crying?" And so the bear cub, she looks to the bear cub, "You can't come home with me. No, you can't. What will the people say? No, you can't. The people will talk, they will say stuff." So the bear cub looks back to her. "Well, if you care so much what the people think, why are you crying? If it only matters to you what people think, then why are you crying here at all?" Contemplating in this, it was her husband that spoke instead and said to that young bear cub, "Daughter, come home with us. You're coming home with us, daughter. Come on." And so they made their way and they trekked down this mountain. As they were coming down, you started seeing that shale kind of shake and rumble, and you started hearing something roll down the hill. It was that bear cub, that little boy. As he came down, the young cub looked to the little sister and to the family. "Hey, where you going?" "Well, I'm going with them. We're going home." And so the young bear cub asked him, "So are they ready?" That's where the young girl said, "Yes, they are." So these two trailed and followed behind this couple until they came down to the base of the mountain where the two bears disappeared. Well, many moons went by, and that young woman ended up getting pregnant. And when she got pregnant with two kids, a young boy and a young girl. She named the young boy Mato, and she named the young girl Matoi. So that talks about those check bars. They say sometimes when you're up there doing hambleche, you can hear the running around, those check bars. Kind of where they tell some of the younger women, "Don't go up there pregnant, you'll come home with two, eh?" But, I really do like this story, and I really love learning more about the history of this place. I tell people in my presentations all the time, before coming out here to South Dakota, I always wondered, who am I? Who am I as a Lakota? What does it mean to be Lakota? What does it mean to be indigenous? And as I get to learn these stories and turn around and get to tell them, I'm only reminded more and more how beautiful it is out here in this way, and how much it means to learn those old ways and keep them alive for others. So I hope that these videos will really serve in that purpose and really help out those who have yet to come. We'll keep continuing on and trying to tell in different areas as I go back on the road and play music. But I appreciate you for hanging with me in this series, and feel free to like, subscribe, share these stories with others, and check out Wolakota. Wolakota is pretty awesome. They got some videos on YouTube as well, where you can find some of those creation stories told by some of the elders. But I thank you for your time, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Wapila.